Good afternoon. My name is Scott, the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So definitely an interesting day, interesting week so far. Monday we came in, market wasn't sure whether or not we would correct more. We were already down almost 3% off the 2490 S&P cash highs, had the red dog reversal. Yesterday we saw power. Yeah, it's a nice follow through. If you went long on Monday, you could have even went long yesterday. It's early in the day and made some money. But if you took home some longs like I did, with a spider hedge, you had to definitely have quick feet and levels ahead of time and try and maneuver. It wasn't the easiest thing to do because all stocks were not created equal. A lot of guys were very happy with my note because I wrote a note and I gave a lot of different levels for about 25 different names, and some worked better than others. You just had to pick and choose which ones, and hopefully you had a few that counteracted some of the bad ones, or you just chose the good ones versus just the bad ones. But that's the way this market is right now, a lot of have and have-nots. But all in all, I put two charts out there, one for the S&P cash and one for the Qs early morning, even on both Twitters, to show you where I think we need to hold in order to be somewhat constructive, to keep building from potentially higher prices, which doesn't mean that's what I want. I'm just saying that's what would have to happen. But anyway, here's the S&P cash. If you look here, this morning I talked about 2440, 2442. Okay, we went as low as 2441, so right around there. Here was your red dog reversal on Monday. Here's your gap up, a little inside day. So now that's our new point of reference. Okay, if we actually hold here a little bit, go sideways, maybe there's a trade above there to reach this descending trend line. Let's hope today was not a false sense of security. We just take it out tomorrow. Who knows? Some people blaming today's weakness early on because of the rhetoric from Washington about NAFTA and closing down the government. But at this point, we're not sure. You have to have your levels. I had the spiders short overnight, so what I said early on when my plan is I covered some pre-morning call express, and then my target to cover was down to like 80, 90 cents. And then actually in my swing count bought some versus the level that we talked about for a trade. So, and again, markets move fast. The best way you can navigate is by having these levels in front of you. If you go to the spiders, basically I was covering pre-market somewhere closer to actually this 244.72, and then we were able to, in the first, I would say, 15 minutes or even 5 minutes, buy this level that it wound up holding. This was at 244.19. This is 244.16, and now we'll see whether or not market hangs in there a session or so to continue to digest, and to continue. Look how long this descending trend line wound up happening. Lots of misdirection in here. So you got to be careful because things aren't easy. Anyway, for tomorrow, we'll see how we open. At this point, 244.16 is your spot to be long against. And with time, not sure what will be the catalyst. Maybe this inside range breaks to the upside. If this were to break below this tomorrow, then, that would kind of get some more active traders out. Here was your red dog reversal. There was your nice move, and now we're kind of in there. Qs held where they had to also. Inside day, okay. Basically, this was, Monday's little reversal. Hold on. And then here's your gap up. And then today, this was a little actually held higher than the level I thought had to hold. So now we'll see if it can go sideways and, continue to be constructive to get going. So, with that said, when you're trying to manage a portfolio, with a hedge, you have to, some things could go green, some things you could buy in the hole and make more money versus if it would have opened up, et cetera, et cetera. So, last night I was long Amazon, Nvidia, Netflix, and Apple. They all looked pretty good. To me, Amazon was probably the worst one because it was the weakest, but I figured Amazon is Amazon. And then you had the news this morning. So anyway, I got stopped out of Amazon for a loss. All in all, it's still lagging. There's no real true reason to be in this thing. I thought perhaps, it could get up to the 21-day. It did not break this level here, and kind of held it, but I just didn't give it that much room. The real trade will be perhaps, I guess, if it breaks this spot to the upside. For now, it's still weaker. Actually, Google got a little stronger. I wasn't in Google. Google actually went green, held higher. This level held, so Google's acting a little bit better. There's a level here that I might try and get above to hit the 50-day. Nvidia actually was really good to us. Nvidia, so in the morning I tweeted to Redler All Access, and I covered some spiders. I bought a little Amazon in the hole, and I bought, NVIDIA down a buck or so to buy it, and then maybe go green, trade out of some and hold some, and NVIDIA wound up being, a rock star. NVIDIA, triggered the reason why I wanted to be in it in the first place, but obviously it was not the easiest thing to do. Why? Because A, it held the 50-day, and B, I thought if it can get above these moving averages, it could pop back up, and it kind of turned the corner. So I'm in some overnight. This would be your next level. Then, I'm not saying anything's going to make new highs fast, but looks, back above the moving averages a little bit better, held the 50-day. So there's a reason to be in it. It actually went pretty fast. So some people say, how do you do that? Well, you put the 5-minute low in. Here was your 5-minute low. I actually anticipated it. You had your first 15-minute, range, and then it broke above it right here. That could have been, you could have waited for that. Or you could have waited for this to happen where it held higher, and then boom, and then trended up all day before closing near the highs of the day. So, you could have waited for that. When I talk about a 5, 15, 30-minute low, sometimes the low could happen in 5 minutes, and this low happened here pretty much by 9:35. Sometimes it takes all the way to almost an hour to make that low, or it doesn't. So that's why, sometimes you try a little bit in the first 5 minutes in case it is the low, sometimes after 15, sometimes after 30. Well, anyway, this one was a good one. Netflix, not so good. Netflix, tried and then failed, and I got stopped out, and I revisited later in the day. Why did Netflix act different? Let's look at this. Netflix, gave you a 5-minute low and broke it, and then it gave you like a 15-minute low. I tried it again, and then I put my stop in and just wound up breaking below it before coming all the way back up. I did take a little bit overnight, but so it looks a lot different than the video, right? Choppy. Anyway, why did I take it again, even though I lost money in Netflix today? Because it looks like a very similar setup. Why does it look like a similar setup? Well, kind of still going sideways, still hanging out in this, above the 50-day. It definitely, responded well after earnings. So we got out here around 88. Now it's going sideways and it's tight. It does seem that this could, maybe it goes sideways and rolls down, but it could take out this level to pop, and that would mean a decent market. So I'm in some, and maybe you could buy more tomorrow, 170. Usually the old Red Dog would not be buying this back because, it didn't react well today, but I've seen it happen so many times where I'm like, oh, the move happened that I wanted yesterday to happen today, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it's still going sideways. And if I didn't do it yesterday, I probably would do it anyway today. So I can't think about, how I reacted to it today because it wasn't so great. Apple was easy or easier. Took about 20 minutes to go positive. So we were able to trade around that. I'm still in Apple. Apple to me is still best in breed. It's still holding the earnings gap, still holding the 21-day. Looks as if anything wants to make new highs. If the market's going to be any good, this is something that can. Never went below this low from the note. Not a lot of power, but still looked pretty good. What I missed, which I'm a little upset about, is because I had so much going on, was Tesla. On my note, I'm like, watch for Tesla to go from red to green. If it could hold above yesterday's low and take out that high, maybe get a pop back up towards 348 to 350. I did not know Tesla would do this today. Look at that, nice, it held that low, took out this inside range, okay? So you could have bought it versus that low, or bought it when it took out the ring, or bought it when it went green, and now it's back above the moving averages. So it's, back in the game. We talked about how the trade changed. When did the trade change a little bit? The trade changed here when it didn't break above this ascending channel. But in the Morning Call Express, or I don't even remember, the big morning call, I talked about how it was just taking its time to wedge, and it's still in the game, but now it's a lower end of the channel, potential versus breaking out. And now that it, had a decent day, maybe, it can get going again. At this point, I am not long Tesla, but doesn't mean you can't be. I just, didn't get a good entry today, and I don't feel like taking it home because it closed strong for it to potentially gap up, where if it's lower, I'm going to have to figure it out. And to be honest, tomorrow I am not in the office. Or Friday, I'm going to Hershey Park with my family. I haven't had a vacation all summer. Everyone's been gone this week. I posted a picture of me on the ferry this morning. There's not one other person on the ferry. So with that all being said, I will be on the road tomorrow, so I figured I would take a few less positions because I want to be able to enjoy the 2 days, but positions that I kind of like, that I would be upset if I missed the trade. I'd be upset if Apple makes a new high this week because I wasn't there, so I feel like I could take the risk and own it. I'd be a little upset if Netflix broke above that little tight range the way NVIDIA did, so I took some of that, and I had a little NVIDIA because it was the strongest today in a weaker market. So 3 reasons to be in those things. I didn't want to. I could have probably been in 4 or 5, but I'm not. And this time I did not take a hedge just because I'm not as long. But anyway, here is your Tesla. Maybe it works its way back towards the upper end. We shall see. From my note, I talked about SHOP yesterday. Some of you guys are in it, looking good, going back towards the highs. It's good to see that some stocks can actually do that, even in a tape that's kind of choppy. And then some of you guys have been in Snap since the Red Dog reversal at 1177. If that's you, congratulations. Why would you be in Snap? Well, on the lockup date, everyone basically said it was going to 0. Instead, it reversed. You took back 1177, and here too it reversed again, took back 1266, and now it's into the 50-day. So that should be some resistance. Doesn't mean it's a short. Means that if you were long it from here or from there, I'd be trimming it into that, and then maybe it could even come back up and fill this gap. But remember that Facebook trade when the lockup was done and everyone thought it was going to go to 0, and that was the day that it started its new trend. Well, here's your first move in Snap. We'll see what happens next. The small caps and the XLE did go green first. If you're in those, fine. I'm not going to tell you not to be. They did show some relative strength today, but I'm not in those. And tomorrow I will be very inactive on both Twitter feeds. I'm not doing a morning call or a morning call express. I will write a abbreviated note, and I will be almost like you guys. Instead of being a professional trader in front of my screen all day long, I'm going to have some positions, and I'm going to figure out where the trade changes to get out and try and let them work out if the market's not going to fall apart. At this point, today the market had some reasons to go down and didn't, held in higher, so it's giving me a little confidence to be in some things for what could be better action, but we shall see. We're a few headlines away from more volatility, which is what we've been for a while, but you can't think and trade like that. You can only trade the action, and some of it's good, some of it's not so good, some of it's not worth your time. So try and figure out what's what for you. That said, hope you had a good day. You traded out of these positions, did okay, and I will be in touch tomorrow. Have a good one.